Hey everyone! Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. If this is your first video that you've ever seen, welcome. I hope that you will enjoy today's look and that you will consider subscribing, clicking the like button, commenting below, all of that, sharing it with your friends. So today I played with my Lorac Pro Palette. This was my first ever eyeshadow palette. It was a gift for my birthday back in like 2014, I think. So it has been well loved, and I got to play with it today. And I got to play with this green jade. It's called jade, but it's like a deep olive green color that I don't normally use. But I got to play with that today, and then some other products that I've been using for a really long time. So it was kind of a nice like throwback makeup video. Anyway, if you want to see how I got this look, go ahead and keep on watching. You guys, I'm so excited to be doing this video. So I'm starting with my e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, and I am doing all products that I used to use when I first really started getting interested in makeup. Now, back then I didn't really use primer, so that was something I learned about a little later. I would do brows, liner, mascara, blush, and that was it. Yeah, that was it. So like after, watching YouTube videos, then I started branching out and, trying a primer and trying concealer. This was before I had these dark spots, so I didn't necessarily need concealer as much. This was back in my 20s. Not in my 20s anymore. Anyway, as I started watching, a bunch of YouTube tutorials, I was like, ooh, I want to try that, and I want to try that, and I want to try that. And so it wasn't so much about necessarily hide imperfection. I was really impressed with what people could do with makeup. They could highlight certain areas of their face. They could experiment with different eye shapes with their eyeshadow and the way they would put it on. And it was really interesting to me that, you could do so much with makeup. Before I used to think, oh gosh, I've got to get ready, I've got to do my makeup. Now I really enjoy putting on my makeup. Now I don't have the foundation that I used to use. I used to use the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte foundation in the squeeze tube. That was my go-to, and it's a really good one. But today I'm using the Maybelline Dream Urban Cover. So this has SPF 50 in it. It's medium coverage, and I'm using the shade Warm Nude. I'm going to use a little more on these dark spots, even though we are going to use a concealer. So the first ever type of like concealer that I ever used was the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind in the brightening shade. And that's what this is, the brightener. This is a fresh one. For all my, what is it, ASMR people, the ones that like all like the sounds and stuff, and like watching stuff be like smoothed out. I don't know, do we like clicking sounds? Okay, so for anybody that's not used this concealer before, it's got like this little puff on the end. You twist up the product and it comes out through the top. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to dab. All right, now I am going to put some of this on eyelids because the eyeshadow primer I'm going to use is not as opaque as like the M.A.C Pro Longwear Paint Pot. Spoiler alert, it's not that one. Again, when I first started doing makeup, I didn't really use concealer because I didn't have these dark spots. Yay, getting older. That's fun. All right, e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder for under the eyes. And then for the face, Nikkia Joy Cosmetics Velvet Finishing Powder. Yeah, I definitely didn't have this when I was first getting into makeup. So, like when I say first getting into makeup, I was mostly into eyeshadow because I got the palette that I'm going to use today as a birthday gift. And it was my first ever eyeshadow palette. You know, before then, I had only had like eyeshadow quads. Right? You guys remember those? They're back. The little e.l.f. bite-size palettes, quads. So I got it for my birthday, and so then I was like, okay, I need to learn how to use this because it's got a lot of colors all together. So then I started looking up on YouTube eyeshadow tutorials with this palette. So then I started watching those and getting ideas and getting inspiration and, you know, just following the tutorials to learn how to combine colors and placement and blending techniques, you know, things like that. Because, you know, before I started watching YouTube tutorials and like really starting to learn how to properly apply eyeshadow, I would just take that good old little sponge applicator and that was it. And so there would be like a line, whew, you don't know what you don't know. And when you know better, you do better. And that goes for everything. We're still growing, we're still learning, even as adults, like we're constantly learning. Okay, now it's time for brows. I have actually been using the Tattoo Studio from Maybelline, the brow pomade. I've been using this for a really long time, but when I first started filling in my eyebrows with like a brown eyeshadow when I was in high school. I wasn't really into like eyebrow pencils because I wasn't good at blending. So I would just take a brown eyeshadow and an angle brush, and I would just use the brown eyeshadow to fill in my eyebrows. And like I said, I started doing that in high school. It's so funny, when I was in high school, we had off-campus lunch for juniors and seniors because we had so many kids at the school that our cafeteria could not handle all of the students, even with, you know, rotating through different lunch waves. So they allowed juniors and seniors to eat off campus. And so I lived close enough to the school that I would just go home most days for lunch, you know, unless I wanted to like go out with friends and go get, you know, some fast food. So one day I went home for lunch, finished eating, and then I think I was watching like a Good Morning America or something like that, but it was like around 11. They had a makeup artist on the show, and she started talking about, you know, filling in your brows and how it gives structure to your face and can make such a big impact, you know, with just this one step. And I was like, ooh, I'm gonna try that. So I did. So went upstairs, took some brown eyeshadow, took my eyeliner brush, and started filling in my brows. And I was like, yeah, I think I like it. So started the school day with like this, right? Although I don't think I had tweezed as much, but you know, something like this, and then came back from lunch with a filled in brow. And I think a couple people were even like, you did something different. What is it? So now we're gonna get into the eyeshadow. This was my very first palette ever. You know, I used eyeshadow quads growing up when I was in high school and in college and stuff. And, you know, what was nice about those quads is that they would actually show you like, okay, put this color on the lid, put this color in the crease, put this in the outer V or whatever, put this one on the brow bone. But I didn't really know so much about blending eyeshadows back then. I started to look up YouTube tutorials because I was like, this is a lot of colors. How do I use this? So let me show you. So this is the Lorac Pro Palette 2, and I love this one. It's got, you can see how well loved like this half or this 2/3 of the palette is. I didn't really venture so much into the blue and green, right? Like these, the green, blue, okay. It's hard to do when you're looking in the monitor, Anyway, so I used a lot of these like more cool tone neutral shades. Oh, look, this one is completely empty. This was like a bone colored eyeshadow, and I would use that to set down my eye primer. And my go-to look would be using Nectar as a transition shade, and then light brown in the crease, or sometimes I would use cool gray, but mostly light brown. And then, let's see, I think I would do Mocha in the outer corner, and then I would do Rosé on the lid and beige as my inner highlight. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. That was kind of like my everyday, or that was my more typical go-to look. If I wanted to deepen it up, I would go to Plum in the outer corner, or sometimes if I wanted a deeper brown, I would use Cocoa. And just recently I started using like this silver and the black and this white for an inner corner highlight. That wasn't until I got much more adventurous with my eyeshadow. I have the behind the scenes eyeshadow primer. This was a little sample that came with my eyeshadow palette, and this size really will last a good while because you don't need to use a lot. Now I've bought other Lorac eyeshadow palettes since then, so this is not the original tube that came with my palette, 7 or 8 years ago. Honestly, probably 8 years ago. So I'm going to squeeze that much onto my finger. I'm going to dab a little on this eye, a little on this side. And we're just going to dab that around. And I did put down concealer and setting powder on my eyelid just because this eyeshadow primer gives a good grip for the eyeshadow, but it does not really cover up like veins that you can see in my eyelids and uneven skin tone and stuff like that. Okay, so just a tiny bit more. Go on this side first. And on this side, I try to concentrate right here. If I'm going to have difficulty blending eyeshadow, it's going to be right here. Right on this hood. I forgot to use my Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter Clear Brow Gel. I'm going to sweep that through the brows real quick. I'm going to use my setting brush with just whatever's left on it and set down that eye primer. We're going to try again with the look that I recorded yesterday, but then had no footage of. I think honestly it was because my phone was just out of storage. So because I have not really ventured into this end, that's where I want to spend my time today. And I want Jade, this green color, to be the main focus. I think I'm going to try and do like a halo eye with this, and then put this silver in the center and use cool gray as a transition. I'm going to use light brown as my transition, and then I'm going to use charcoal in the crease. So that's the plan. We'll see what happens. So going in with light brown. Yep, like I said, right here. That's where I have trouble getting some eyeshadows to stick sometimes. Now we're going to go into charcoal for the crease. Tap off the excess because this shade is very pigmented, as I learned yesterday. So we're going to start in the outer corner, work up and over. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to do a halo eye. Do I want to do a halo eye? Do I not want to do a halo eye? What are we doing? Let's do a halo eye. Why not? So we're going to put that in the inner corner as well. I don't think I've recorded a halo eye yet. I did one on Valentine's Day. My husband and I got to go axe throwing. It was so much fun. I had actually gone the week before with some mom friends, and oh my gosh, we had a blast. But then, my husband had never been, so we get set up, and I throw my very first one, and I get right in the bullseye. Oh, it was magical. He was like, I think I'm in trouble. But he did great. He ended up beating me at both of the games that we played. So yeah, he won. He did good. When I thought I was recording yesterday, I was using this charcoal color in my crease on this eye, and it was looking really patchy. And I felt like it was not very evenly blending in the crease, but we seem to be doing a lot better today. So, all right. I'm gonna go back with this brush that had the light brown on it, blend out the edges, because we want it to just fade from one color to the next. We don't want it to look like we used a sponge applicator and just went whack without blending it. Okay, so we've softened up that charcoal color because it was a little intense. So now I'm actually going to take this same brush that I used for the charcoal color, and I'm going to pick up Jade. I'm going to use this on top of the gray. And then we got to go to the inner corner. I want to make sure I get all of it off my brush before I go pick up another layer, especially to do such a small area like the inner corner. And then we'll put a little bit up here. That's a pretty green. Obviously, I don't use it very often, which is why it was like untouched basically in this palette. But it's pretty. It's a nice deep like olive green. Now I'm used to Jade being like a bright green and and much lighter. Something closer to this color. So it was kind of odd to me that they would name such a dark shade Jade, but it is very pretty. Are there darker like jade pieces? Because I feel like I've only ever seen the lighter green ones. What about you guys? Have you seen jade pieces that are this dark? All right, so I'm just taking the tip of the brush, blending around the edges where I put that. I'm trying to keep the center here blank, but I'm kind of getting onto it. That's okay. Now, I'm gonna use my finger, and I'm gonna take the silver. And, and that goes right in the center. So I need to blend out the top part. But look. So I take my blending brush. Okay, we'll go back and blend that some more. This silver is really pretty. It is like really easy to pick up, really easy to blend. Pick up a little bit more jade on the very tip. There we go. So we lost a little bit of that depth. Lost a little depth in the crease from the silver. And I'm just going really lightly with my brush. I want to blend this side a little more. But hang on. I'm going to wipe off the silver from my finger just so I don't end up with it somewhere where I don't want it, like all over my nose. And then I feel like I've got like a lot of product on my blending brush. Like it's getting to be too much. So I'm just swirling it on a tissue, a little square of tissue paper. So that's helping to kind of clean off some of the eyeshadow that's on there. That way I'm not still adding more of the dark colors but I can still use this brush to blend. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay, so that's softening up that line. I'm gonna take just a tiny bit of the charcoal. You know, I probably could have gone just straight from like the light brown, which I'm gonna go back into the jade. So if you have this palette and you wanna recreate this look, which would be super cool, tag me on Instagram if you do, because I would love to see that. At SarahEve_official. I'm adding jade to the inner corner and the outer corner. And blend between that and the silver. Super soft. A little more silver. Oh yeah, that kind of punched it up a little bit. Whew. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot to zoom in for the eyeshadow, but here we are, we're doing we're doing eyeliner next. I'm using the Kokie Professional Retractable Liquid Eyeliner. So it's a waterproof formula, it's carbon black. This is how small it is. This is how small it is when it's all like closed up. And then what you do, boop, and there we go. And there you've got your felt tip for our felt tip brush. That might be a felt tip. This is my first time using it. So yeah, felt tip. Felt tip is not gonna move around, like it's not gonna be as flexible as like a brush tip. But this is really nice black liquid liner. Okay, so there's one wing done. All right, liner's done. Went a little thick on the wings today. So for eyeliner, I used to use, oh, I don't even know if I have one anymore. I used to use the Maybelline Gel Eyeliner in the little pot like this. This is one from Sigma, but it was in a pot like this, you know, just like the brow pomade. And it came with a little applicator brush, a little liner brush. And that was my go-to eyeliner. Ooh, for sure since college, maybe even high school. I don't know. I mean, it's still really good. Pretty sure it is still sold in stores. Or if not, you know, maybe they repackaged it, renamed it, reformulated it. What did I get down here? Good Lord. What and how? Anyway, let me know in the comments if any of you guys would be interested in seeing what I use to take off my makeup at night, or what I use to clean my makeup brushes and makeup sponges. Let me know what you guys want to see, because I love reading comments. I love responding to comments, and you know, I just would like to take a minute to say thank you to everybody who has been watching and who has commented and liked and shared all the videos and has subscribed. I really appreciate it. Like, this has been so fun for me to make makeup videos, but it's even more fun knowing that you guys are watching. Thank you. Because again, I am not a makeup artist. I am not trained in any way other than from the school of YouTube. So I've just watched a ton of YouTube videos, tutorials, things like that, you know, plus what I had already been doing, you know, that I learned from my mom, or Learned, oh man, way back when in high school, I used to learn makeup tips from a magazine. My, how the times have changed. I mean, I know magazines are like still around, but like I used to get 17 magazine every month. I had a subscription. Like that was the type of subscription we had back in the day, was magazine subscriptions. Now everything's a subscription, which, you know, is not bad. It's super convenient for sure. Okay, eyes are mostly done other than the lower lash line, but we're gonna go back into cheeks, right? The rest of the face. I have the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. This is the shade Sun-Kissed Bronzer. My first ever bronzer that I ever owned was from Lorac. I bought it on sale, and it is called Tantalizer Buildable Bronzing Powder in the shade Beach Betty. And I'm pretty sure I got this like on clearance at Kohl's. So pretty sure this is actually discontinued, which is something I later realized about the Marc Jacobs bronzer, which is why I got it on sale. So it is, I'm trying not to like spill what's left, but yeah, this is what we're working with. So I have used quite a lot of it. It's a very deep shade. I only use it in the summer. This I think is actually the second bronzer that I ever bought because of YouTube. So it smells really nice. I love it. This is a good bronzer shade for me in the wintertime when I'm not as tan. Oh, and it smells good. But I think I did see, or I think I saw a video where some YouTubers are choosing not to use Physicians Formula because they're not cruelty free. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. You know, anybody who might happen to know. And to be honest, I would definitely love to support the vegan cruelty free brands, but like I need to finish this first. Like growing up in a family of 6 of us, you know, 2 parents, 4 kids, we don't waste stuff. So like if I've already bought it, I need to finish it. This was the very first highlighter that I ever bought. It's the Maybelline Master Chrome. This is in the shade 250, number 250. Was this the collaboration with Nikkia Tutorials? I don't know. And I've got, what is this? What do I have? What's in my hand? No, I don't want that. That's my e.l.f. brush. That's my blush brush. This is a travel size Ulta blush brush, but I'm gonna use it for highlighter. Oh, it's still so good. So I couldn't use my first bronzer because it's just too deep for me right now. But that was my very first highlighter, followed shortly by the e.l.f. Baked Highlighter in Moonlight Pearls. And I liked that one. It was a much more subtle highlight, but then I started to get really into the metallic highlights. I like it to be shiny. I like this kind of shiny. I don't like oily shiny. Although I'm thinking this shade might be too light now. I don't know. Here, I'm gonna pinch the bristles. Get just a little on the nose, down the bridge. Not too much, because we'll have some there later anyway, because I'm oily. And then my first blush that I can remember buying, like actually for myself. So this is the Maybelline Fit Me Blush in the shade Wine. Nice, deep berry shade. We're gonna go pretty light with that because I don't want it to clash with the eyeshadow. But we're just gonna put a little bit of that on the cheek. Just a little. I've had this actual blush forever. Ugh, I forgot how pretty it is. It is kind of a deep shade. Let's fix it. I'm gonna take my makeup sponge and just dab over it a little bit and pick up a little bit of that blush. so it's not quite so intense. So bronzer blush highlight is done. We're gonna zoom in. We're gonna do the lower lash line and the inner corner highlight. So let's see. Boop. A little bit, something up there. So for sure, inner corner highlight, I'm gonna take this M.A.C pigment packer brush, just because my pencil brushes are all dirty. I mean, I have 2 of them. I'm gonna take Snow and put that in the inner corner. I'm gonna put it on the brow bone. It's a little much. We're gonna blend that. We're gonna take the E40 brush, pinch it a little bit, and just blend between the light brown and that Snow shade. And I'm actually gonna take my brow brush and see if I can fill in some of those gaps that I'm just now seeing. Did I just mess that up? Hang on. Take a tiny bit. Okay. Yeah, I like that better. I'm gonna take that same E40 brush. Actually, no. I'm gonna take my E25, blend that just a little bit. Super soft, barely touching. Okay, yeah. 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 I'm actually gonna take this brush that I used for the inner corner highlight, and I'm gonna take Jade and put some in the outer corner, a little bit in the inner corner. I'm gonna take some of the silver. There. Oh yeah, that's a little thicker of a line than I meant to make, but we're gonna fix it. It can be fixed. So we're gonna take the E40 blending brush. I'm gonna take my tissue and just clean it up a little bit. Because yeah, I definitely went further than I meant to. And now, I'm gonna take the setting brush. All right, let's see what happens when we do lower lash mascara. I'm using the Benefit They're Real mascara. Yeah, we may need to go, especially on this eye, and clean up that lower lash line a little more. All right. I'm just taking a Q-tip, wet Q-tip, to the waterline. Oof. Ugh. Okay. I don't think I'm loving that mascara, even on my lower lashes. I feel like it's clumping up real bad over here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna ditch this one. For lips, we're gonna use a MAC lip combo. The MAC lip liner that I'm using is the shade Whirl. I think this was like the first like higher end lip liner that I'd ever bought. On a day-to-day basis, I'm not using lip liner. Like this whole look would be for sure like a going out, you know, date night, special occasion type of look. Yeah, especially because we got that deep dark smoky jade green halo eye going on. Went a little too high. And then the lipstick I'm using is the shade Velvet Teddy. A nice like pink brown neutral color. All right, time for setting spray. It matches my eyeshadow. Well, kind of. Matches my shirt. Gerard Cosmetics Slay All Day setting spray in mint chocolate chip. Fan it dry. Well, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys really enjoyed watching. Thank you so much for spending your time watching my video. I had a lot of fun playing with my first ever eyeshadow palette. It was nice and nostalgic, brought back a lot of memories, and then using some other products that, you know, I've been using for a really long time. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. I would love for you to subscribe to my channel and help it continue to grow. If you would share this video with any of your friends that you think might like to watch, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.